All right, welcome to Tribulation 5/15/2011. This is my personal witness and testimony to the tribulation that is literally unfolding right in front of my very eyes. We have reached day 681. Today is March 17th. It's a Saturday. Out here in San Jose, California, the sun is starting to break through. It was overcast this morning. We've been having fog and overcast skies in the morning for the last couple of days. What I would actually call earthquake weather. I've lived in California since 1972. So I don't sit here and walk around. You can have an earthquake at any time. But those of us that have been out here for a long time, there's literally weather where you think, hey, this is earthquake weather. So, the world continues to spiral downwards into chaos. I want to kind of run through a list of what's going on. But, my friends, when it comes to the tribulation, it's not hard to come up with a list of stuff going on. It's actually hard to come up with a list of good stuff going on, but there is good stuff going on. But that's not what I'm here today, to talk about. We're going to go through just what's going on, whether it's good or bad. And speaking of bad, the bad seed. The bad seed can mean a whole lot of different things to a whole lot of people. 2013, as far as the tribulation, it's kind of a midway point in a way. There's a lot of people with prophetic timelines out there that all seem to be targeting in on 2012, 2013, and actually the next couple of years for major things to be happening. Of course, we just got through 2012 with the Mayan calendar ending, which was a big dud, but I think there's still more to that. That whole story hasn't ended, but a lot of people are quick to say, oh, hi, it's all fake. But you know what, my friends? It's not fake. The tribulation continues, and the craziness and the chaos around the planet continues. If this is your first time to this channel, hey, God bless you. That means your eyes are opened. And if you're living a hedged-in, bubble-eyed existence, hey, God bless you too. Here in San Jose, I do live in kind of a bubble-eyed existence because we just seem to have the greatest weather, and San Jose is, one of the more mellower cities, nicer cities to live in. Homeless people, there's tons of homeless people here. Because the weather's pretty nice, and I meet them when I walk down by the creek. I can see the homeless encampment has been growing, my friends. Which is always a sign of the times. But 2013 is, kind of like a year of manifestation where good manifests more good and bad and darkness manifests more darkness. But, even in the Bible, there's the term the good seed and the bad seed. They're kind of, some are sown separately, some are sown together. But the bad seed is not good. You don't want to be a bad seed. And that kind of brings us, today I was on the Al Jazeera website, and they had a story, The Bad Seed of Argentina. And, when I first saw that title, I thought, oh, they must be talking about the new Pope, Pope Francis, because he was elected on March 13th. Of course, all the numbers keep adding up, 22, 33, 13, But I thought, oh, the bad seed, they must be talking about the new Pope, Pope Francis, because everybody was talking about the Malachy prophecy where he's the final Pope. He's the 266th Pope. But no, that's not what the article was talking about. But just since we're talking about the new Pope, his real name is George Bergoglio, and he's from Argentina. He's 76 years old. If you add 7 and 6, you get 13. He was ordained on March 13th. He was selected, he was ordained as a priest in the Jesuit order on December 13th. And this was like way back in, it was like 1960-something, maybe 69. But he was selected Pope on March 13th. But Pope Francis is the first Pope I think, to be a Jesuit, but he's not the first to be dedicated to like a separate order within the Catholic Church. But being a Jesuit, that's kind of a tricky thing, because the history of the Jesuits, is kind of dicey, and there's some darkness in there. And, some people are even throwing some darts at the new Pope, because Argentina had ruthless dictators and the church was there the whole time. And were they compliant? Nobody's saying that Bergoglio did anything, but it's more a case of he did nothing. He didn't speak out against it either, So if you're not with it and you're not against it, are you absolved from it? I don't know. But, as a whole, he's at least saying, hey man, Jesus Christ, he is testifying, and he's actually saying, get your mind right. Think of the heavenly treasures and stop thinking about worldly things, because that's what's dragging this planet down, And I've been saying that for months, just get your mind on right, walk in love, brotherly love. That's what the world needs. That's the good stuff. That's the good seed. But some people, because of that Malachy prophecy, they're thinking this new Pope, Pope Francis, is a bad seed, but that is yet to be proven. But, everything may not be as it appears. So I'm just going to, I'm trying not to judge people anyway, but that was a huge, big event in the last week or two, which was Pope Benedict resigning and this new Pope coming on board, all having end-time implications. So the bad seed, what was the article about? Over on Al Jazeera, it was about Argentina, which is the country where the Pope comes from, Pope Francis, George. It's about that Argentina as a country, that their new #1 crop is soya, which is genetically modified soybeans. And the article is basically saying how it is killing the whole country, because there's pesticides everywhere. It's in the water supply. It's inside of all the people, and the cancer rates and the birth defects are skyrocketing, because when you eat genetically modified food, it isn't good, my friends. No such thing as good GMA. If you mess with the original formula of how God created things, it's nothing but downhill. They may say, oh, look it's larger, it has no seeds, it has more color, it's more insect resistant. But because they modified it, ultimately to our bodies, it's death. So that's the bad seed of Argentina. But my friends, this year, 2013, the bad seed, whoever they are, and you know what, they'll start, it's a year of manifestation, so it could be your friends, your family, people we respect, kind of like Lance Armstrong, who all of a sudden became a bad seed. Hopefully he's on the road to recovery. But bad seeds ultimately are planted and sprout forth and manifest more darkness. Just to look at more tribulation news, end time prophecy, it's all about plagues, the final plagues. And, like they're worried about a tuberculosis outbreak down in LA. People been dropping dead from that. There's also a coronavirus, which is a cold or a flu. And it's in the Middle East. It's actually everywhere. The swine flu, the bird virus, it's all the same stuff. But it's only a matter of time before, because it happened in 1918. The Spanish flu wiped out, millions, if not billions of people. And we're on the verge of that again, unfortunately. And vaccines, all that stuff is a bunch of gobbledygook and isn't going to stop none of what is coming if this, because it's just by nature. Everything we've been doing, we can't undo the last several decades, but using penicillin and bacteria-resistant cleansers and the whole big picture is that drugs, viruses, everything is evolving and modifying, because there's new radiation, the sun, all that is just making stuff morph. And when it comes to these viruses and whatnot, they become resistant to whatever treatments we got, and they jump and hybrid from animal to human, and next thing you know, we got an epidemic. And my friends, I think we're on the verge of that, if not already into it, and they're just not telling us. Over in Israel and Egypt, they've had a plague of locusts for the last week or two, and that's kind of out of the Bible as well. North Korea, you know, Kim Jong-un, you know, basically the psychopathic, crazy retard of a son of the late Kim Jong-un. I don't even care what their names are, man, but North Korea, you know, that's a dictatorship. It's a tyrannical society, and you know, Dennis Rodman went over there the other day, and you know, they treated him to you know, 4-star hotel, and you know, pulled the wool over his eyes to where he left the country saying how great these dudes are, while there's millions and billions of people being imprisoned and starved. You know, Dennis Rodman, wake up, brother. You know, but Korea is just, they're not just rattling sabers, they're beating on war drums, and I think, you know, whether that young crazy dude is in charge of that country or somebody else, it doesn't bode well for us, because they're threatening to shoot Japan, they're threatening to shoot America, they're threatening to shoot South Korea. The United States, in response, we're trying to put more anti-missile missiles, you know, in Alaska, here in California, wherever. But, you know, I'm just telling you, you know, all the numbers tie in. You know, in Korea, it's about the 38th parallel, you know, the number 38. And if you looked at my line that I put on the map of the occult pyramid in America, it's on the 39th parallel. But it's all about being above or below the line, you know, 37, 38, 39. And one way or another, it all kind of works together, you know. Because the dark side, the bad seed, they got plans, you know, of eliminating their enemies and reducing the population of the world. You know, the Georgia Guidestone's 33 years old come March 22nd. And my friends, you know, we're only 5 days away. You know, the Passover, Exodus, the angel of death. You know, is the angel of death an epidemic flu? You know, who knows? But the spring equinox, you know, everybody's on high alert. You know, there's a huge earthquake potential for the next 5 days or so. You know, volcanoes around the earth are going off. The earthquake activity is skyrocketing. And, you know, it's weird, my friends, because I watched the space report, you know, by Suspicious Observers, and I also have a link to a space weather website. But I'm always looking at they got several ways of looking at the sun through different filters and whatnot. But, you know, several days ago, when these 3 sunspots came across the limb of the sun, they were starting to rotate into position. They number them all, and one of them was numbered 1692. And you know what, it just kind of jumped out to my attention because my birthday's 1962, which it's the same numbers, just rearranged a little bit. But for some reason, I thought, man, I bet you $10 that sunspot's going to shoot a flare out directly at Earth, you know, because that's just the way things have been working out lately. And I also, I was watching Rand Paul filibuster the Senate trying to stop the gun control legislation, and I was sitting there thinking in my head, filibuster, filament, and I was thinking, hey, once again, and I even did a video where I was talking about Smiley sun and the coronal holes and the filaments on the sun, but even when Rand Paul was doing that filibuster, I was pondering filament because they both sound alike, and I was thinking once again, hey, there's going to be, you know, a CME, and sure enough there was, like yesterday, a huge CME from sunspot 1692, and it's going to hit us tomorrow night, St. Patrick's Day, you know, March 18th, and they're saying there's going to be, you know, satellite interference, auroras in the skies, and who knows what else going on, you know, because I think it's all tied to the earthquakes as well. So, you know, that's tomorrow night. We'll see how that affects you know, life on this planet, because I'm telling you, my friends, the magnetic shield, the extreme weather, there's still horrific snowstorms all across the United States. You know, just backtracking for a second to that North Korea thing, like I said, they're rattling their saber huge, saying we want to attack everybody. It's about the 38th parallel. And you know what? There's even a new MacArthur movie coming out. I've seen the previews for it. I think Brad Pitt may be playing MacArthur. But what a time to release that movie. You know, the movie of General Douglas MacArthur, who fought the Korean War, who kicked the Koreans' asses. That was back when America was #1. And I don't know whether it was good, bad, or whatever, but that movie coming out ain't going to help the situation. You know, if that crazy son of the former dictator is watching that movie, it might fire him up to say, you know what, let's get revenge for that stuff. So, my friends, there's a lot of stuff, crazy stuff going on out there. You know, the Middle East is crazy. We got Obama you know, and Vice President Biden are out of the country, but Obama's going to be in Israel on the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd-ish already. You know, the Brotherhood or the PLO, somebody over there threatened war if Obama steps foot on the Temple Mount. So none of that's good. And he's leaving the country, and it's all ominous, you know. Syria is completely out of control. There's a refugee crisis. In fact, around the world there's a refugee crisis, whether it's from starvation, war, whatever. There's more people displaced and out of their homes than ever before. But in Syria, people are fleeing. Like, you know, it's bad. You know, the death count for just Friday alone was 216 people. And, you know, it's amazing, my friends, because our President Obama, God bless him, you know, we bombed Libya and, you know, got rid of Gaddafi because he said there was some kind of humanitarian disaster happening over there. And what's happening in Syria is now making that look small in comparison. And yet our president really isn't doing anything about what's going on in Syria. And, of course, all the other countries, Iran is, you know, our own president admitted they're less than a year away from getting a, you know, nuclear weapons capability. Iraq is becoming more unstable. So, you know, the world, you know, with Chavez dying in Venezuela, you know, Russia's not really looking too friendly lately. China. So, things are getting dicey, my friends. And I think we're less than 5 days away from maybe some monumental stuff happening, you know, over the Passover, Easter holiday. Just seems like 2013. You know, these timelines, Nine Narnia has a real good timeline in my opinion, but my buddy, One Angel in Outfield, he actually sent a timeline that was in a video that was really good. But, you know, most people, what they're doing is they're looking out into the future, like in the 2015-16 timeframe, where there's all these solar eclipses and blood red moons more than normal. And if you take those dates out there and you then backtrack some of these prophetical timelines, like in Revelations and Daniel, you know, there's 1,260 days, 1,335 days. But if you backtrack those things, you keep ending up landing on March 22nd. And then if you, you know, look backwards and come forward 6,000 years or whatever, or from the Georgia Guidestones, and there's other things from when, like, the King James Bible was published, but whatever, from all the dates in the past coming forward, you keep ending up at March 22nd, man. So 322, skull and bones, man. We'll see. All right, that being said, God bless y'all out there. You know, try and be positive, do something nice, you know, help somebody out, get your head screwed on right, forget about the stock market, you know, even though it's higher than ever. It's like when I blew up that balloon, talking about the stock market. Even when I was blowing up that balloon, I had no idea when it was going to pop. So that's the way the stock market is right now. You know, I thought it would have popped by now, surely. But, you know, it's not because business or the economy is doing good, because the deficit, you know, all that stuff is still unresolved. You know, we're $17 trillion and climbing into a debt we can never get out of. But, you know, the stock market, it's still expanding. It's unbelievable, but it's all because Bernanke and the Fed is pumping fake money into it, you know. But if you want to climb on board and be in the stock market when it pops, hey, be my guest. But what I would say is get your head screwed on straight. Forget about your IRS. Forget about stocks. Forget about all of it, you know, and just think about spiritually where you are and where your family is and where your friends are and what you can do for your fellow man, you know. All right. Hey, God bless. I'll catch you later.